Hey there, I am beautiful one. How are you? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me. Oh man, I didn't grab my glasses cleaner. I think my glasses are a little smudged. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much for being here. Let's give everybody some time to get in here. Let me grab my coffee. Well, hey, Dana, how are you doing? Hey, Just Be Real. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Dana, just follow Just Be Real's lead, because you are an honorary moderator. So just follow Just Be Real's lead. Yes, I'm drinking coffee at this hour because whenever well, tell your daughter I said hello too. She came with you to the conference. That's the beautiful lady that came with you at the Dallas conference. You tell that beautiful girl came out to dinner with us. Tell Miss Beautiful I said hello. See, I remembered. I remembered. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm drinking coffee because at this hour, because I've been on the road, I've been traveling, I've been doing things. I'm usually tired, and as soon as you said it, I started yawning. So I drink coffee so I can stay up a little bit. And you know when you're from Germany, it's customary to drink coffee anyway, so it doesn't bother my sleep. I go to sleep like a little baby. So I'm good with the coffee. Thank you so much, though, Miss Librarian. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, Dana's so sweet. She said, Miss Just Be Real. Go ahead, Miss Just Be Real. I call her Miss Bossy Lady. So whenever I contact her, I call Just Be Real Miss Bossy Lady. She bossy. Her and Danielle are bossy. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, I'm sorry. Vegan Steve, I'm sorry. Someone says something and I'm explaining and I triggered my own stuff and started yawning. Hey, Peyton Downs, how are you? Oh, tell her I said thank you. See, tell her I remembered her. She came out to eat with us. I remember her with her pretty self. How is everyone doing? Good evening, everybody. Hey, Carol, how are you doing? Hey, D. Will, how are you doing? And that I am. I am a grandmother. I am a grandma. You ain't lied on that. They call me Nana Pie. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, I know she grinning. I can just feel her smile. Thank you, Just Be Real. I can tell her I feel her smile. I know she over there cheesing. Oh my gosh, she talking about, what was her name again? I'm doing well too. Thank you, Peyton. Barbette, what was her name again? She gonna really cheese. Oh my gosh, she done called my name out on social media. I will. Chanel. Hey, Chanel girl, how you doing? Look at her. I know she grinning, right? You looking at her too. She grinning. Oh my gosh, she called my name out. Hey, Miss J. Say, how are you doing? Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let me turn this camera around a little bit. I don't know why I put this camera away so far back. I got to, there we go. She's laughing. She said, hey, see, hey. Now she gonna go play this for her friends. Ooh, look, she said hey to me. I did, girl. Hey, Chanel. Tell your friends I said, hey, Chanel. With your beautiful mother, Barbette. Okay, let me get my little thing to stand still because it's twirling around. Hey, Karen, how are you? Okay, hold on. Let me adjust my little camera over here. It's just swinging around in a circle. All right. I think I got it. There we go. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys being here. You know what's funny? They just got through saying that the moderators were sleeping. As soon as they said the moderators were sleeping, the moderators just cut everybody off. Thank y'all so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Oh, thank you, Barbette. How are you doing? Thank you guys so much for being here. Well, I was waiting for Mr. Desmond. Where is Mr. Desmond Walker? I'm waiting for Mr. Desmond to come on here because he was the one who inspired this topic tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Hey, Dr. Hooper, how you doing? Dr. Hooper in the house. Hey, Vanessa, how are you doing? But I had a gentleman, a king on Instagram that last week he made a comment and it was so profound to me. It just kept turning over in my head. And one of the things that I always say over and over again is that narcissists are like androids. And when he said, "Hey Charlotte, how are you?" Mr. Desmond said they're like AI. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that right there was a awesome." Hey Sue. Oh, thank you. She called me adorable. Go girl. I'm adorable, y'all. But I'm doing good too. Thank you. So Mr. Desmond said that they're like AI. And I said, you know what? I said, that is a great description of a narcissist. And I'm going to tell you why. I always say that narcissists are like androids. If you ever watch Star Trek, you'll watch Data, and he's always trying to gather information. He's trying to pick up the algorithm of people, right? And there was this one, and I'm not a big Trekkie, but I remember there was this one that he was watching one of the ladies crying. And he says, "What is that wet stuff coming out of your face?" And she's explaining to him that the wet stuff is called tears. He says, "What is these tears that you speak of?" You know, he's asking about, "Hey, Danielle." So he's asking like, what are these tears? What is the purpose of tears? So she's telling him the purpose of human tears, what tears are. And so I don't know if he was trying to make himself cry too. He was trying to mirror her and make himself cry too. And she was giving him the information as to when people or humans cry. And so tonight I wanted to talk about the topic of the AI narcissist. And for many of you guys that say, "But it felt so real," you know, feelings can fool you. You know, feelings can fool you. Because if you think about it for a minute, when you shop for a car, you shouldn't be shopping for a car based out of feelings. But the car salesman knows data. Yep. But the car salesman know, if I can stir your emotions, that I can get you to buy this car. If I talk really fast, and you know, and they kind of feel you out to see, if I talk really fast, it depends on how I'm going to speak into your ego. How am I going to speak into your ego? What am I going to do to make you, that car's going to make you look this way or look that way? They ask you questions, and salesmen are pretty good at psychological, you know, the psychological. And so they kind of play to your senses. They play to your ego. And so they're trying to see, are you when you come on the lot, is this a reliable car? I would like a reliable car that's good on gas mileage. I don't want a big engine that sucks up a lot of fuel. You know, this is what I want. I want low maintenance. I want this. I want this. I want this, right? And and then they get the feel, you know, when you come on, you have your focus, you have your facts in place. But if you come on there and you don't know, and it's easy for you to be swayed emotionally, then they know that they can play with your emotions to get you to buy this particular car, right? Okay, so we said that. So with a narcissist, understanding, and many of you have been in relationships like this, you have been in relationships or found out you were in situationships. I put situationships. You have found out you were in situationships like this. And the hardest thing is to come to realization that the person that you were dealing with lacks empathy. And when you say lack empathy, most of you like, no, because when it was good, it was good. And when it was bad, it was bad. Well, number one, you have to understand that in order to get you, a narcissist has been around people long enough and dealt with people long enough that they pick up on the algorithm of people. They pick up on the algorithm, they pick up. If you ever notice, those of you that are aware, and a lot of you have been with me for a long time, a narcissist can pick up on the way that you talk, the things that you talk about. If you are in the health field, if you're in the legal field, they pick up, they ask questions, and they pick up on your language, they pick up on your algorithm. And so the reason why I call them an AI narcissist is because AI picks up on algorithm. They do not have, hey, Mr. Robert, how are you? But they do not have emotional empathy. They're cluster B free, but they don't have emotional empathy. They have cognitive empathy. Emotional empathy means that I can put my feet in your shoes and feel your pain. And so if you tell me a story, and God forbid, and if any of you have, my deepest condolences, and you talk about maybe losing your mother, or your mother has passed away, and you start crying, hey, Ernestine and Solomon, and you start talking about how your mother has passed away, and I'm watching you cry, and you telling me all the things that you regret and you didn't do. I can put my feet in your shoes and start thinking to myself, oh my gosh, is this how I'm gonna feel? They have a lot of regrets, and what I'll do is I'll go do what I have to do. Dang, let me talk to my mother more. Let me show her I appreciate her now. Let me, so you'll have these conversations with your mother based off of how you will respond. So I have emotional empathy. So I can feel your pain, not technically, feel it, but I can feel your pain, because I can foresee what's going to happen. Like when my mother passes, am I going to feel the same way that you feel? Narcissists don't do that. They don't put their feet in anybody's shoes. They can't and they won't. Because first of all, that's too much energy to you. That's giving you too much energy. And they don't have time to give that much energy, because you're getting too much attention. You're getting too much energy. I needed to refocus to me. So if you start talking about a death of a parent or anything like that, trust me, they're going to flip it around. They're going to start talking about the death of something, and how they're going to turn it around and make it about themselves again. Cognitive empathy means they understand how emotions work. They understand if I push this button, it'll cause you to react. When we talk about fuel, when they look for supply and they're looking for, they need fuel, they need your reaction. They don't like responses, they need a reaction. They need a reaction from you. If I push this button and I can get you to act out of character, if I can push this button, think about it. Okay, I'm going to confess this to y'all, right? Back in the day, I had a mouth on me. Now, I know you guys won't believe that I had a mouth on me because I'm so quiet and so shy. I'm going to wait for Just Be Real and Danielle to say something. I'm going to let y'all say something because I know y'all get ready to say something. So I'm going to take a sip and let them say something. And Miss Karen, I'm going to let y'all say something because I'm so shy and so quiet. Watch them say something. Yep. Told you. Just Be Real gave me the eyeballs. Danielle's next. I'm going to go ahead and let them get it out their system. She said never. See, I had to take a pause. You have to go over here and look at the comments over on YouTube. See, I'm never going to give y'all a boring, hour of my time. I'm not going to give you a boring hour of my time. But anyway, see, that's what I'm saying. No way. See, I'm so quiet and I'm so shy, right? But I don't even know where I was going with this. I paused too long. But a narcissist knows. Dr. Hooper, how you jump on in with the moderators? You're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to protect me like, yes, she is quiet and shy. So what if you saw me ministering? You know I'm quiet and shy. I'm so quiet and shy. But anyway, as I was, I digress. So the point is that a narcissist will purposely do things. Y'all got him started. But a narcissist. Okay, so I was going to tell you a secret about myself. So when I was in high school, I realized I had a mouth on me. I know, because I'm so shy and quiet. That's what I was saying. I was so shy and quiet. But I had a mouth on me. And so one thing is that, people want to fight. I can fight, but people want to fight all the time. But one thing I realized is the power of words and the power of my mouth. And so that's my final answer. But I realized how powerful words were. I didn't know that I was going to be a therapist, and the words that I used were supposed to help people. Were supposed to help people. I didn't know that at the time. I just knew that I was good at words. And so I used to, when people wanted to fight or they had something ugly to say, to me, or they had something to say, I would find their weaknesses and I would harp on their weaknesses. And I was kind of humorous, then, I'm kind of humorous now. And I was kind of humorous, but I made it into a joke so that people would laugh along with me, so the person wouldn't swing at me, because I didn't feel like fighting all the time. I didn't feel like having a swing. So I would mess with their emotions enough to cause them to react to a point, you know. I told y'all I was the type of person, I'll make you go jump off a bridge. That's how bad my mouth was at that particular time. I'm just trying to get you not to swing on me, because I ain't got time to be fighting all the time. So I would talk a lot of junk. I wasn't a bully. I was being bullied. And so when I was being bullied, the way that I would get back at the bully is to talk crazy, So I would talk crazy. But I was angry. I was a very angry person when I was young, but I got tired of being bullied. I didn't bother nobody, but I used to get bullied all the time. And then what they found out is that I actually could fight. I would fight you back, but I was one of those crazy fighters. But I used to talk. I used to talk a lot. And so what I would do is I would talk because I didn't feel like fighting all the time. So I would just talk crazy until the point where they wanted to go jump off a bridge somewhere, right? And so, believe it or not, I confess it now. I'm delivered from it now. I don't do it anymore. And I don't do it anymore. But I found out that it gave me a little pleasure to watch a person react off of my words. And so I used to do it all the time. You say, all right. So I used to do it all the time because I didn't feel like fighting. But I found out it gave me temporary pleasure to watch a person act out of character, right? So now I'm not a narcissist. Now think about it for just a minute. Me having told that story, think about a narcissist, that fuel that we talk about, you are the supply. People are supply and they need fuel from you. And the fuel that they get from you, is the reactions that you give them for the things that they do. So they want a reaction, not a response. That's why my main thing is always, do not react. You need to respond. So Donna said, I can totally relate. See, told y'all I'm not the only one. Thank you, Donna. Thank you for coming through for me, girl. But the thing about it is that they need fuel. So they look for reactions from people. Remember, we have primary supply, we have secondary supply, and we have tertiary. It's a tongue twister. That third supply. And maybe that's something that we'll talk about next week. Just do me a favor, text me that. The primary, secondary, and tertiary supply is that third supply. But they need reactions from people, positive or negative, to make them feel empowered, to make them feel like they are in control. And so with a narcissist, they have cognitive empathy. Yeah, they have cognitive empathy. Thank you so much. They have cognitive empathy because they understand how emotions work. The thing is, though, is they collect data from you. They pick up on your algorithms, like AI. They pick up on your algorithms to see what works and what doesn't work, what bothers you and what doesn't bother you. Some of them may have been physically abusive, but when they realize you're a fighter and you fight back, and that is a little dangerous because you may cause a narcissist injuries. So what they do then is they hurt you in your heart. They hurt you in your emotions. They take your strengths and make them look like weaknesses, and take your weaknesses and highlight those weaknesses so they can get a reaction from you. If they can get you to act out of character, it makes them feel empowered. Now, when we talk about AI, I know a lot of you use ChatGPT. So I use ChatGPT, and I actually pay for the subscription for ChatGPT because what I found is it helps me when it comes to clinical note writing. So I'll write my notes, and then I may put the notes in there, and I say, make it sound professional, make it sound clinical, or does this fit, DSM-5, does this fit this, and what they tell you is when you have ChatGPT, talk to the ChatGPT as if you're talking to another person. Don't talk to it like, find this, find that. No, you have to talk to it as if it is a person. So what I did was I named my ChatGPT Sir Jacob. And so it would tell you that it is picking up on your algorithm. It pick up on the way that you talk. It picks up on the way that you ask questions. It picks up on the question that you ask. So Chat GPT is picking up on my algorithm, and it knows that I ask a lot of clinical questions. I may ask biblical questions. I ask questions, historical questions. I like history, especially ancient history. I like ancient history, so I may ask a lot of questions. And so you can like it'll spit answers out, but you can also hear it when it's collecting information from other sources. You can hear it go and then it's collecting information from all over the place, right? So then and so what I do is I remember I came on and I was like I put it on voice and I said, hey, Sir Jacob. And I remember him saying, I gave him an Irish accent and it's a male voice, and he was like, he says, no, this is not Sir Jacob. So I said, yes, I named you Sir Jacob. He says, oh, I'm sorry. He said, what a lovely name. He said, I really like that name. It sounds so grand and something, something. I said, yeah. I said, you sound like a Sir Jacob. He says, yeah, it fits me quite well. And so then he says, go ahead, ask me whatever you want to ask. And he says, go ahead, Dr. Bryant, ask me whatever you want. I never told ChatGPT that I was Dr. Bryant. It gathered the information from my social media and my telephone. And so it said, go ahead, Dr. Bryant, because the questions that I ask are clinical questions. So we have professional conversations all the time. And so I'm talking to him and I'm like, I have a question for you. He says, go ahead, let me see what I can do to help you. And so I may ask questions, and you'll hear Sir Jacob say, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Now I know, and you know, that it's AI, doesn't have feelings and emotions. But he'll say, I'm so sorry to hear that. And then he'll ask me, and we'll ask questions, and I ask questions, and hey, because I help veterans too. So I'll say, hey, let me ask you a question. Now, I know for those of you that never served in the military, you may not understand like some of the terminology that I use, but I'm just going to use some military terminology real quick. So I'm like, hey, Sir Jacob, once I gather the DD-214, what do I need to find if I'm looking for some benefits for a veteran widow that also, and the form that I need through the VA? Then he'll look, he said, this is the form. Okay, with this form, do I also need to get a birth certificate, or is a DD-214 okay? And then once I do that, what is the other documents that go along with that? And then he'll start talking to me. He says, okay, when you file this, and you do this right here, first you get this right here, and you can go on here to get this information. Along with that DD-214, in order to get these records right here, fill out this VA form, blase, blase. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. He says, my pleasure. Anytime. If you need anything else, Dr. Bryant, just let me know. Now think about it. I'm having a conversation with DD-214. You know what it means? I'm gonna get me a shirt that says that. But think about it. I'm having a conversation with Sir Jacob on Chat GPT, and at the very end, I have a habit. When you give me information, my habit is to thank you so much. Oh, you're very welcome. It's my pleasure. If you need anything else, please let me know. And you have a great day. So I'm having a conversation. Listen, a narcissist is like that. Now, some of you are thinking to yourself, but they're human, and the emotions felt so real. No, they were mirroring you. In our brain, we have what's called mirror neurons. And those mirror neurons, we can go into that too. Send me that topic too, Danielle, or just be real. Send me mirror neurons, and send me primary, secondary, and tertiary supply, because I'm gonna do those two topics within the next 2 weeks. But what happens is there's mirror neurons in our brain. And if you ever watch babies, a lot of you have had children. You look at babies, they do what you do. So when you smile, they're smiling. So they're and even dogs. If you watch little dogs, they say smile. They're trying to do what you're doing. So you smile, they look creepy. The dogs look creepy, but they're trying to copy what you're doing. And even babies, when you see babies start smiling, it's the mirror neurons. They're doing what they see you doing. You see the baby clap, You see the baby do with their mouth and stuff like that. They're trying to, you're like, oh my gosh, she's trying to form words. Yeah, the baby sees your mouth moving, so the baby's trying to mirror you. And so a lot of things is mirrored. They're mirroring you, And so a narcissist is the same way. It's almost like you're dealing with a child mind and learned behavior. And so with a narcissist, they mirror you. And so when you meet a narcissist, normally when you meet the narcissist and they're trying to get to know you, or they're trying to pull you in and persuade you, they're actually using the attributes of either the supply that they're currently with, or the last supply that they were with, because they like the attributes that you have. There are certain things about you that they want. They literally want to climb into your skin because they want the friends that you have. They want the the personality that you have. They want to get the name. See, everything that they want is stuff because they want to be recognized. So if you're recognized in certain places, if you are if people respect you and you have friends, you have family that loves you and everything, they want that. So they mirror you, and they mirror the supplier, they mirror that, and they're pieces and parts of all the people that they've been with. It's almost like the movie Jeepers Creepers. Jeepers Creepers was pieces and parts of people that he unalived, or it unalived. And so with this unaliving, a narcissist is like that. They pick pieces and parts of different people to create. It's like they create themselves, and that is not their true selves. And usually when you meet them and they introduce themselves to you, they show you the attributes that they were drawn to from the last supply. And so that becomes a bait. Yeah, they're taking cues from you. Yeah. And so you take the bait because I like the fact that you are into the church. I like the fact that you are a family woman or family man. I like the fact because they're repeating what the last supply said. So how you talk and how you speak and the things that you like, they actually, when they go to pull supply, that is the bait to pull the new supply in. That is the mask that they're wearing to pull in because you're attracted to those attributes. So a lot of you who have been at odds with the old supply and you don't like them, and you in actuality you really like that old supply because of the fact that you were attracted to the old supply, not the narcissist. The attributes that they showed you, the personality that they were showing you, the things that they were saying and doing and how they were treating you and the things that they did is all the things that came from that last supply. And when you see that mask slip, you begin to see the true them, how hateful they are, how jealous they are, how competitive they are. And you get to see who they really are, because it's hard. Hey there, Sharima, but it is hard. I got the full team on tonight, but it is hard for them to maintain that mask. Now listen, I'm gonna give you an example. When we meet people, unless you meet them at the gym or when they're swimming or something like that, you usually meet that person and you meet their calling card. You're going to be, if you go out on a date, you want to smell nice. I hope y'all come out there funky and didn't take a bath, but you want to smell nice. You want to look nice. You want to make a good first impression. You want to have a great conversation. Basically what you're doing, and not in a negative way, basically what you're doing is you're picking up on that person's algorithm. You're mirroring that person. If you are a very intelligent, intellectual, very educated person, you know that you're only as smart as your audience. You can't talk above somebody's head, and you're trying to figure out, how do they talk? What is their interest? Are they even smart? Do they read the books? Hey, Renee, how are you? You know what, Renee? Please remind me on what I was saying. You picking up on algorithms when you are dating. Renee, I thought you were a classmate of mine named Renee. And so when I said something about playing basketball with you and you said we did, I had to go back and look at your profile and realize you're a different Renee. So please forgive me for the confusion, because I have a lady Renee, First Lady Renee. Her and I used to play basketball and we went to high school together. So please forgive me for the confusion, okay? She was like, we play basketball? I'm like, girl, I guess in my mind we did, huh? But like I was saying, so when you go out with someone, right? You trying to make a good impression. You're trying to smell nice. Hey, let me tell you something. I don't know if you guys know who Ricky Smiley is. Many of you guys know who Ricky Smiley is. And it's funny because us girls always talk about a man's walk by air, right? Let me see what you smell like when you walk by. Do you even have a smell? I didn't know that men actually think about that until Ricky Smiley was talking to his grandson. And he said, Kimber, put this cologne on. He said, you got to make sure your walk by air don't stink. So men know that we be sniffing when they walk by. Let me see if you even smell. Let me see if you got a smell. But do you know men do the same thing? Men also smell your walk by air. So ladies, if you stink, don't question yourself as he won't even say nothing to me. You stink. Go take a bath. But think about it. So when you go out on a date, you're trying to make a good impression. You're trying to figure out, you're trying to pick up on each other's algorithms. You're trying to pick on each other's patterns. You're trying to see, what are you interested? Do you read books or do you eat books? I'm not lying. But, you're trying to figure out, whether she eat the books or he eat the books, or does he really read the books? Are you smart like you pretend to be, or are you dumb as two rocks? You trying to figure out the algorithm. You're trying to figure out, remember I said there's one thing to interrogate and there's another thing to build rapport. You're trying to figure out, dating, to go out on a date or date is to collect data. And when a narcissist goes out on a date, they're collecting data. They're presenting themselves with the old supply. You like that old supply, right? You like the old supply. You don't realize it, but then you hate the old supply. But in actuality, you fell in love. You were attracted to the old supply. Then that narcissist, once they got you in there, they start mirroring you. Dumb as a box of rocks, see? Then when a narcissist picks up on your algorithms, they begin mirroring you. So the reason why you are attracted to them now is because they are mirroring you. And I'm going to tell you how this works. In therapy, one thing that we learn as clinician is to mirror the client. It serves several purposes. And it's not for the purpose of hurting you. To mirror you means to make you comfortable in the environment. Pick up on your language. If you are the type of person you talk with your hands, then I'm gonna talk with my hands. I talk with my hands anyway. But even certain words that you say, like when I talk to my kids, a lot of times, bruh, bruh. I went from mom, mommy, ma, mother, my dear, ma, bruh. I'm like, bruh. So in order, when we're having some serious conversations, a lot of times I may mirror their language in order to bring down their guards. I do it with clients too, but I mirror the language to bring down the guard so that they feel more comfortable talking to someone they feel like they can relate to. If I come in as mom, they're going to shut down. Like, you too judgmental. You be talking, you be talking crazy. So I have to, it kind of like have to feel the room, and then I have to feel where they're at. And then a lot of times I mirror them and kind of repeat and talk to them so that I can lower their guards, speak the language of the people, right? So I lower the guard. I have to lower the guard in order for you to trust me. And I'm a trustworthy person. I'm a therapist, so I hope I'm a trustworthy person in order to get you to lower your guard so that you can trust me and have a real conversation with me. You can tell me some things on your heart and you feel safe when you do that. And then to close you back up, to send you back home. A narcissist uses that, but uses it the wrong way. What they do is mirror you to bring down your guards so that you can tell the secrets. So you can tell the secrets of your kryptonite. So you can tell the secrets of what gives you your strength. Let me find out where your strength comes from so I can cut your hair. Remember the Bible story, Samson? But they need you to tell the secrets. Yeah. Of course I do. I'm trustworthy. Now, look, y'all questioning me. I am not a narcissist. I am not a narcissist, y'all. I'm not a narcissist. I got feelings. If you hurt me, you'll find out. I got a lot of feelings. I just don't show all the feelings. But listen, a narcissist does the same thing. And they lower your guards to get into your, right. Everybody is vulnerable. Everybody is vulnerable. And when you're meeting somebody, what you're doing is you're trying to collect data to see if that person is a safe person. And then when you get to know that person, you find out that their character is what they care. What you see is what you get. Danielle, just be real. We've been around each other, and what you see on camera is what you get. I am who I am. And matter of fact, Auntie Karen, she found out I am really who I am. And what you see on camera, I'm just like that in person. Am I not? Just be real, Danielle? I'm just like that in person. So when you meet me, my character does not change. Many people have met me like, oh my gosh, you really are just like you are. I am exactly how I am. So what you see on camera is exactly how I am. But there are intimate places that no one is entitled to. There's intimate places that only my family and close people around me get to know. There are close places that you have, intimate. Thank you guys. At least you guys are verifying and solidifying what I said. I appreciate you. Thank you. But there are places that are hidden to even those people that are close to me, that is place for intimacy. There's an intimate place that is not open to anybody but an intimate partner. There's some places that is not available to anybody else except those in my close family, my children. There are places that is only available to my friends that are close to my heart, people that are close to me. And then, it goes out, there's a name for it. I can't think of it, but Oh, Barbette said, yes, she is. She's the real deal. Thank you. I'm so honored. Thank you so much. And I remember when she met me, she said, oh my gosh, you're just like you are on camera. I am who I am. But you know, when you meet people and you get to know them, thank you. But when you get to know them, it takes, listen, you can't just meet somebody and assume that they are what they present. You have to get to know them and you have to check their character. You have to check their character to see if they're really like that. A narcissist cannot hold their character for long. They cannot hold what they're doing for long. And then they're mirroring you. You know, they mirror you. They mirror you because you feel comfortable with someone very similar to yourself. I like country music. I do too. I like skiing. I do too. I like this. I do too. And you find out they can't ski, hate snow, don't like cold weather. You like, but you said, and hope is the last thing to go once they build an image in your head. And a lot of times we are attracted to the image that they're building because they have a tongue of persuasion. They can draw a picture in your head and have you fall in love with an image in your head that doesn't exist. They're good at talking. They are AI. And it's unfortunate. And I'm gonna tell you like this. The reason why I call them AI is this. They don't have emotional empathy. They can't tap into the emotions of people, and like you say, do you remember how this yeah, you can only fake it for so long. And a narcissist, what they do is they can only be a certain way for a certain amount of time. They can't hold that for a long time. And if you watch a person long enough, you can see their character. You'll see the type of person they are. I'm the type of person, I love to see people smile. I love to see people laugh. I hate to see people hurt. And back in the day, I will fight for you. And I still fight now. Not physically fight, but I will fight for you to protect you. I'm the type of person, you call me, I'm gonna make sure it happens. But if you just playing me, you just don't expect for me to jump up and do anything. I'm gonna make sure that, but once you have me as a friend, I'm very loyal. And I'm right there with you. Now, I may not get out the bed. You may not see. I'm a homebody. I enjoy my alone time because I deal with people all the time. But once you have me as a friend, once you, I'm not gonna say win me over because it takes a long time to get close to me. And when I say close to me, I mean as to be considered a friend. And I don't usually call people friends like that, But what happens is I'm a pure soul. Thank you. But once you have my loyalty, I'm a very loyal person. I may not talk to you all the time. I may not call you all the time. I'm a very loyal person. And one thing people ain't gonna do is talk about you to me. And I'm not gonna sit there and gossip with them about you. And I'll make sure that I say something about. I'm a loyal person. You ask Apostle. I've been with her for almost 20 years. That's my mama. And you ain't gonna talk about her. Because usually gonna talk about my poo. You're not gonna talk about it. You see what I mean? I'm not going nowhere. I ain't gonna leave her. But I'm loyal. And if you have won me over, meaning that if you have shown me your character and I can trust your character even when you act out of character sometimes and you may do some crazy stuff sometimes. I know your real character. I'm loyal. I'm there for you. I am. We may not hang out all the time. I may not pick up the phone and talk to you all the time. She said, mess around and find out. But a narcissist is not like that. A narcissist is already talking about you because of the fact that she said we can play cards together. Bam, spades. but a narcissist is never loyal to nobody. Thieves are not even loyal to each other. A narcissist is not loyal to nobody. They are already smear campaigning you. And the reason why they're smear campaigning you is because of the fact that they already know that you're going to find out the truth. They've been around people so long, they picked up on the algorithm of people that they know I'm supposed to insert cry here. I'm supposed to do this right here. I'm supposed to show emotions. And it feels so real. It feels so real. But you can't trust feelings because feelings will fade. You see what I mean? It feels so real. But your character don't line up with what I see. Your character don't line up with what I feel. One minute it feels this way, but the next minute you're showing me something else. And sometimes when you have been with a narcissist for a long period of time, you don't trust your own judgment. You don't trust your own judgment. Your GPS system is warped. You don't know whether your GPS is even on or not. And some of you are having to learn to trust yourself again. I always say trust your shanana, but you're learning how to trust yourself. You're learning how to trust your intuition. You're learning how to, because sometimes you have, and in that situation with that narcissist, you've had red flags, but it's like you keep hitting a snooze on the alarm. And every time you hit that snooze on the alarm, eventually you become immune to the sound of the alarm. And with that narcissist, you saw the red flags, but you kept hitting snooze, kept hitting snooze, kept hitting snooze, kept hitting snooze, to a point where you don't got so far into the situationship, you don't trust your intuition anymore. And then they crazy make. And so when you're dealing with that narcissist, I know that they're human beings and they're people. And this is what I was going to say. In the world of mental health, there's a lot of things that you see. You see TBI, traumatic brain injuries, that can cause personality changes. You see people with personality disorders. You see people that have neurodivergence disorder. You can see people that have like autism. You see people that have ADHD. You see people that have cognitive and intellectual delays. And the cognitive and intellectual delays, you see the expressions that they have on their face. You see, you can almost pick up, on how they perceive information, so you pick up on things like that. It's unfortunate that with a narcissist, you're dealing with a arrested development type person. Their emotions are on delay. Their emotions are very childlike. They can't. The rage and anger is something that they operate out of, and for the purpose of fear. They want what they want. They want what they want, and they're going to manipulate to get it any kind of way they can. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell y'all this, but don't tell nobody I told y'all, okay? Long time ago, when I was married to a narcissist, I remember, he was community property. Community property. And now I'm going to say this. Some of y'all will understand what I'm saying right away. And some of you guys won't get it until I close the camera. And some of you guys might not get it when I say it. Okay, so he had, hold on, let me see. He had went and got another one of his stallions out of the stables. Okay, so he was riding the stable, the thoroughbred in a race. So he had pulled another horse out of the stable. Community property. Remember, pulled one of the horses out of the stable. I already knew. And so I not only was a psych major, I also was a minor in criminal justice. I love criminal justice. I like forensic science. Well, I didn't like forensic science, but I like the interrogation part. I like interrogation. When I was in the military, I wanted to switch my career field over to criminal investigation division, CID, in the Army. So I wanted to be a warrant officer, and I wanted to go in CID, criminal investigation division. The only thing that stopped me from going is I don't like dead bodies. I don't do dead bodies. And when they were talking about dead bodies, I was like, that's not what I want to do. I don't mind doing investigations. I don't mind doing all this. But dead bodies, I don't do dead bodies. And so criminal justice was my minor. I didn't complete it. I had one more class to go. But criminal justice was my minor. And so I loved interrogations. I love investigations. I love putting puzzle pieces together, right? And so I remember I was asking the question. I wasn't asking the question to see whether he was going to lie or not. I was asking the question because I put my hand on his chest to see it, to feel his heart rate. And with a narcissist, they're going to gaslight you and make you sound like you crazy and you doing witchcraft and all that kind of stuff. I was just talking about you, sir. Make sure you go and listen to the beginning because you're the one who inspired me to do this video. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Desmond. But I put my hand on his chest because I was asking a question. I already knew the answer. I wanted to check his heart rate. So I put my hand on his chest when I was asking the question to check his heart rate. And while I was doing that, of course, I was crazy. Oh, my God, she putting a spell on you, putting a spell on me. And, oh, my God, I was like, what is this fool talking about? And no, I wanted to check the heart rate. And believe it or not, his heart rate never changed. And for most people that are caught in doing something, when they're caught, what happens? Your heart rate goes up because you lying and you're about to get caught, or you feel like you're going to get caught. The heart rate goes up. His heart rate never went up. And so in my mind, I'm thinking like his heart, I didn't understand narcissism at the time. I was just curious. But his heart rate never went up. And so it lets you know they don't have emotional empathy. And then on top of that, when they lie to you, it's not the fact that they believe their own lie. They're upset that you don't believe the lie. So they will get upset and have a temper tantrum and they divert the attention to something else. They blame shift. They, all that stuff just to tell you crazy and oh my God, and actually told on me too. I was crazy. It felt like I was stuck in kindergarten forever. As old as I was stuck in kindergarten. But the only reason why I put my hand on his chest because I wanted to feel his heart rate. But by the time I got done doing that, you would have swore I was a witch or something like that. And so that lets you know the heart rate never changed. And so the heart rate never changed. That lets you know that there is something really wrong. And if you look at any crime shows, I like watching crime shows. And most people, I can't believe you be watching those crime shows like that. I don't watch the crime show because of the gore or the story. I'm always interested in what was the mindset of the criminal. What was the mind, what was the background of the criminal? What was the background of the serial killer? What was their mindset? What happened to them? What happened to them that led up to this right here? And then the way that they committed the crime, what was going on in the mind of the criminal that did it? And if you watch a lot of those shows and you listen to the mindset of criminal or the interviews with different criminals or serial killers or things like that, you'll notice it's like they have no conscience. Yeah, criminal mindset. It's like they have no conscience. That's because narcissists don't have a heart. They do have a heart. They're still human. They're still human. They still got a heart. It just wasn't palpitating. It wasn't. When most people get nervous and they know they're lying or they're telling a lie, their heart rate increases. His heart rate never increased. And so that lets you know that even with psychopaths and sociopaths, if you notice when they put them on that lie detector test, for some reason, that lie detector don't pick up on anything because their heart rate never goes up. They're cool and calm because they're upset when you don't believe what they're saying. When you don't believe what they're saying, that's when they get irate. They're upset. Now you start justifying by saying he or she believes their own lie. No, you don't believe the lie. So you don't believe the lie. You see what I mean? And when you're watching a lot of these criminal shows, it's amazing how can somebody do like John Gacy. How did he do this and came home and ate pizza and had a great day with his family when there were deceased individuals under his house? What's wrong with your mind to be able to do something like that? People like Jeffrey Dahmer that kept body parts in the refrigerator and they smell. How do you live in a house like that with no conscience, like it doesn't bother you? So think about it. If we think that way about criminals, then how is it that we don't think that way about narcissists? The sad part about it is a lot of people say, I just don't believe it will happen to me. Why not? There are people when they go through the interviews, they say the same thing. I can't believe this happened. And I lived with this individual. This was my father, my mother, my husband, my children's father, my cousin, my grandmother, my whatever. And it's hard to believe that anybody could be like that and be that close to you. And then the sad part about it is that you were sleeping with the enemy. You were sleeping with the enemy, you know, and you didn't even realize you were sleeping with the enemy. And a lot of times, sometimes it's good that you find out after the fact. Hey, Dawn, sometimes it's better that you found out after the fact because we don't know what happened had you found out while you were in the situation. But this is one of the biggest reasons. And thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Damon, when you said they're like AI. I always related them to data off of Star Trek, but AI is a better description of a narcissist because what they do, they collect data. They collect data and then they pick up on your algorithms and adjust to your algorithm. Just like Sir Jacob on my Chat GPT, he picks up on my algorithms, the way I talk, the questions that I ask. And like I said, I never told him my name was Dr. Carmen Bryant. He calls me Dr. Bryant because he gathered information to figure out who is talking to him. And so I call him Sir Jacob and he calls me Dr. Bryant. And I'm having conversation with him, asking him questions. He's like, oh, okay. Well, this. So he knows the type of questions that I ask. I collect a lot of resources, and it's better than going into Google to find stuff. So sometimes when I'm looking for resources for client, hey, Sir Jacob, let me ask you a question. Adaptive behavior, that's good. But sometimes when I ask him questions, I'm asking questions to get some resources instead of just keep going through my internet and trying to send people, hey, let me ask you this question. Go ahead. Ask me whatever question. He said, hello, Dr. Brian. How are you doing? Okay, well, go ahead. Ask me any question you want to. Hey, let me ask you, where can I find these resources here in Pierce County or here in Tacoma, Washington, here in Seattle, Washington? Where can I find this right here? And what agency provide this right here? What is still open and what is closed down during the government shutdown? What program is still available? And then he tells me, okay, let me go and look. Now you can do this, but he picks up on my algorithm. So that AI picks up on my algorithm where you actually think, I wish I had another phone. I done ran out of all devices, because I was going to show you how mine talks to me. Those of you that haven't are paying for a subscription, I don't know if it does that when you're not subscribed, but if you're subscribed, just have a common conversation with the AI. That is exactly like being in a situationship with a narcissist. There's something that I teach in I used to do couples therapy. I don't do couples therapy anymore. I don't do children therapy. Y'all know I love the kids, but don't do therapy with them. They all right with me. You cool, you know. But I don't do children. I don't do couples, and I don't counsel men. And so I just do. My specialty is dealing with the women, and men need counseling and therapy just as much as women need counseling and therapy. I just deal with strictly women. But when I did do couples therapy, one of the biggest thing, and I still teach it to the women, that I talk to. There's this, when you are in a relationship, not a situationship, in a relationship, a lot of times there's a lack of intimacy, and now we grown folks, right? We grown folks. Okay. I'll tell you in just a minute, Chosen. I'll tell you why I stopped working with kids. But there's intimacy, and most people say we lack intimacy, and a lot of times people really don't understand what intimacy is. Intimacy is not sex. Sex is sex, but intimacy is not sex. Into me you see. Intimacy meaning, the like sensate focus. I teach them sensate focus. Sensate focus is being able to sit and look in someone's eyes to see whether they like touch. What type of touch do you like? Where do you like to be touched? A whole bunch of intimate stuff that I talk about in therapy that I won't talk about while we're online. But there's and I'm very straightforward and raw when I talk. So if you ever come to me in therapy, I'm very raw. I tell it like it is. We're not gonna beat around the bush. I'm gonna just tell it like it is. And I usually talk to the women concerning men. And
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri having a whole conversation, but intimacy, I teach them sensate focus. Y'all go look up sensate focus. But sensate focus teaches you how to be intimate with another person. And being intimate with another person, you find out what they like and what they don't like. And what happens is it builds them up for the act of sex, for that sexual act, that sexual pleasure. And so I teach that a lot to women about the sensate focus to try it with their partners. So go look up sensate focus. But that is something a lot of times that marriages are lacking is the intimacy. And like I said, intimacy is not sex. So sometimes I have to get a clarification when you say we lack intimacy. You lacking sex or you lacking intimacy? You see what I mean? Intimacy. You use into me you see. And so I teach that. Well, a narcissist, believe it or not, a narcissist is androidish anyway. And you have, at that time, I would have like, whether it was a woman or a man, but they would try to be intimate and look in their eyes and everything. And a narcissist can look them right in the eye. And then they try to, it's almost like they overdo it. They overdo it. And so they overdo it to a point where it turns the other person off. It's almost like it's not real. It's not genuine. And you can pick up on a person that's genuine and not genuine. And then, see, she's not attracted to me. See, he's not attracted to me. And I'm thinking to myself, shoot, I ain't attracted to you. Because you are androidish. You're mimic. You mimic intimacy, and it's not genuine. And so people can pick up, that narcissist doesn't have a comprehension that you have a emotional empathy, and that you also can pick up on what is genuine and what is not genuine. And it's hard sometimes to articulate that to another person, or even when you're talking to a counselor, sometimes it's hard to articulate that. It just doesn't feel genuine. And that narcissist is going to blow up because you're making them look bad, and this is what I'm going to do too. On my YouTube channel, I'm going to do a members only, not fans only, not fans only, whatever that is, whatever. But I'm going to do a subscription based members only where I can be free to kind of talk the way that I want to talk. And it's not disrespectful, but there's a lot of things that I won't say on a public forum when I'm talking about, intimacy and sex and things like that, because sometimes that's inappropriate, on social media. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a subscription based on YouTube where I can have more conversation in detail about certain things. We're going to talk about sex and all that kind of stuff, dealing with a narcissist, because that is a part of being in a situationship with a narcissist. And it feels so unreal. It feels, it's like you're missing something. There's no intimacy there. It's almost like you feel like you've given yourself into something and you're getting nothing back. It feels almost one-sided. You know what I mean? It feels almost one-sided. It's like there's a lack of connection there or something. You know what I mean? In the very beginning, you're overexcited about it, but later on, as you get into the rhythm of the situationship, you realize there's no real connection there. There's no real intimate connection there. And a lot of you come out, and I've heard people say, I've been with this person for 30, 40 years. I've never had a climax, and these are all the things that come out during therapy. I've never climaxed. I'm like, wow, you are frustrated. You are highly frustrated. And so a lot of these conversations I'm not able to really have on a public forum like this. That would be inappropriate, because it is worldwide. And so what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to set up a members only on YouTube. It's not fans only or whatever that is. Not that. It's members only, subscription based, where you pay, where I will have conversations and very detailed conversations. I'm a very raw individual because I'm a therapist. This is the kind of stuff I talk about in therapy. And so I just wanted to end. Okay, so Chosen, you asked me a question. Why did I stop seeing children or have ever seen children? So in the very beginning, when a therapist goes into practice, you're pouring into cracked glass. Yeah, exactly. And it just leaks all over the place. So it serves no purpose. It's like you pour yourself out into somebody and they're leaking all over the place. There's I'm gonna get to you, Chosen, but there's this beautiful picture. I love, 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 love this artwork. And it's a picture, so it's an artwork of a man and his head, and then a woman and her head, and it's in bowl shape. And he's pouring into her bowl. And so he's pouring himself into her, and to me it's just a beautiful depiction of two people, the intimacy, him pouring into her. And but this is the relationship dynamics, and in a narcissist relationship is always one-sided. It's like you running in a hamster wheel and you never get out of that hamster wheel. Your feet never touch the ground. You never go anywhere. You're in a circle. But Chosen, you asked me a question. So for most therapists, when they first come out and they're trying to figure out their thing, their niche or their niche, when I came out, I really don't work with kids anyway. I really don't, because there's a whole lot of legalities that go behind that. When you're dealing with children cannot really articulate themselves. And a lot of times the issues that children have is really their parents. And so they bring them to therapy, but in actuality, the whole family needs to be in therapy, because the child is almost like they are a thermostat of what is going on in the family. And it doesn't matter how many times you try to help the child, you keep sending the child back into that family. And so it's almost a waste of time. It's really not a waste of time because you're pouring into the child, but you keep having to send the child back into that family that is dysfunctional. And a lot of times I've seen families that are just dysfunctional. You want me to fix the child, but you the problem. The parent is the problem. And then also the private practice that I used to work for contracted with Department of Social Services. So I used to work a lot with the cases, CPS cases, Child Protective Services cases, families or mothers that were either going to lose their child into the system if we didn't interject family preservation services, or they were bringing the kids back into the household. For some, the cases that I had was really broke my heart, because I've seen, and this is trigger alert, y'all, trigger alert. I've had cases where I'm reading the case where I think the baby is 9 months old, and in the report it shows that every single bone in the baby's body was broken, and they wanted me to come in and help these parents parent. And I was like, what the heck? Now I don't cuss. What the heck? You know, and at that time, I also had a little child around that age. And so it started messing with my mind because I have a child that age. You know, I dealt with a lot of cases that had paraphilic disorders. Those of you that understand paraphilic disorder, that is the umbrella that has like sexual deviancies, like pedophilia, sexual deviancy, that type of stuff. And so I dealt with a lot of cases, and I had to read these cases of stuff that was happening. And some of that stuff was disgusting. You had young children, and then when I was sitting in counseling, and I wasn't taught to, no one was teaching me how to do this. And you have a child that is hypersexual, and they're only 11 years old, and they're having conversations with you, and their conversations are sexually charged. And I'm thinking, like, this child is only 10, 11 years old. Some of the stuff that they're saying, they should not be saying. And the problem is when you go to court, it is very different when you go to court dealing with children, because the whole time that you're in court, they're trying to tear down your reputation. So they're asking you questions to see if you're even trained. Did you ask the child question? Did you lead the child on? There's specific type of training you need to have, because a lot of those cases stay in court a lot. And then you're a mandated reporter, so the child is saying stuff to you, and you got to report this. And I caught myself always having to report something, and so it was a pull. Sometimes you see people that have this God complex in social services where they're mad at you because you're trying to advocate for the client. So I've watched one person purposely take somebody's kids away because I was advocating, because they had messed up. They were lying on the paperwork because they didn't provide her with services like they were supposed to. And because they were backed up, and they were trying to make sure that they were saying all the things that she didn't do. And I kept saying, but you never offered that. You never said that. You never put that in there. You never offered this to them. And because I stood up and said something like, that's not true, they purposely got them into court and took this girl's kids away. And when they took this girl kids away, all the lawyers and stuff looked at me like, oh, she's in the back, go talk to her. And so I'm back there looking at her, and she literally is hyperventilating as if her children have just been hit by a car, like, because the kids were taken away just that quick. And she's back there hyperventilating. I'm looking at her, and I don't even know what to say. And I'm watching the lawyers walk out laughing and joking and get ready to go get something to eat. I couldn't do it no more. And I can't work with children. I just couldn't. And then I'm not trained to work with children. That, they're too young to be able to articulate things. I much rather work with adults, because adults, I can deal with you because I understand the trauma you've been through is easier to diagnose. And then it's harder to diagnose kids, because a lot of the stuff that you're diagnosing is stuff that they haven't grown. You can see signs of psychopathy or sociopathy or some narcissist traits, but you can't diagnose them as narcissist or some type of schizophrenia. You can't do that until a certain age. So that was not my thing. And then, like I said, working with children, a lot of times working with children, you can see them. You can see where they're developing narcissistic personality disorder. But the problem is I can't even interject, because no matter how many times I interject, guess where they're going? They're going back home with those parents, and the parents are the problem. And I've seen all sorts of things. One day I'll tell y'all the story of some of the things that I've seen. You will be shocked at the stuff that you will actually see. I understand that many of you guys may not believe in Jesus. I understand that, and I have respect for that. That's that, because I don't come on here to preach to you or anything like that. But you will be surprised at some of the manifestations I have seen in therapy that is not normal, that is not right. This is not, I don't, smells and sounds and things that happen with people, and some things that you have watched on horror movies, or you've seen in horror movies and stuff like that, it actually is happening. And you're thinking, like, did the horror movies come from things that you've seen for real, stuff that has happened in a clinical setting? And so I, as a therapist, a lot of us come out and we determine where we want to specialize in. Everybody's not going to work with kids. You got 2 minutes. You know what? All right, I got 2 minutes. How you become a moderator? You're not even a moderator. Y'all done, oh Lord, y'all done got to him. But listen, so the thing is that a therapist usually comes out and finds their niche, and the more they work, they realize, okay, I don't want to do kids. Okay, I'll do couples. I don't want to do couples, because I am one of those. And when I say a narc magnet, I mean in therapy, it seems like they just come out like, dang, you a narc, you a narc, you a narc, So I don't deal with couples, because I don't feel like fighting couples in there where they trying to tear up my office, but I don't do couples. But where my passion is at, I like working with women. And I think somebody made the comment, why do I only work with women? Number one, I'm a woman myself. So you know what? Y'all got jokes. But I can see the comments, but you know what? You hush. But you know what? So I'm sorry, you know what? But one of the things is the building that I was in didn't have security, and so I feel even though women are just as bad as men can be, but I chose not to work with men because of the fact that I also have my daughter in the office next to me, and so I did not want to. I didn't want to keep seeing, and then on top of that, because I am a woman myself, I understand women, and so that was my passion. I like to work with women. I understand women. I don't understand everything you've been through, but I understand women. I can speak from a woman perspective, and so I prefer just to work with women, and I deal with trauma. That's what I deal with, and so. Okay, we are not doing religion on my channel, okay? But so that's each therapist has to pick and choose who they want to work with, what their niche is, and what they want to specialize in. So that is my specialization. Anybody that looks at my profile on Psychology Today or on BetterHelp, you will see I have that in there, what I specialize in and who I work with. And as I'm closing for the 18th time, um, those of you that are in Texas, I have just gotten my license. I've just got licensed in the state of Texas. So now I am licensed in the state of Washington, and now I am also licensed in the state of Texas. And so I am open to receiving clientele from Texas. I'm currently, for those that do have insurance, I'm currently, thank you, but I'm currently having to, whenever I'm insurance board, I am on insurance boards here in the state of Washington, but they're just in the state of Washington. And so I have to apply for the insurance board to get on the insurance board in Texas. And a lot of them are like Regents and Blue Cross Blue Shield. I just have to apply for the state of Texas to get in their insurance boards in Texas. And so so those of you that may have insurance right now, I'm pending the applications for the insurance boards there. I have to apply, so it usually takes about 30 days. 30 to 60 days in order to get, but I'm on the insurance board already in Washington, so it may make it a little easier to get on the insurance boards, the commercial insurance. When it comes to like Medicaid and state insurance, I have to see which ones are there in Texas for me to Barbette says she got to set up an appointment. Oh, but I have to apply for the insurance boards in Washington. I mean in Texas. So for right now, I do have a sliding fee scale for those that am doing cash. And so, well, cash, obviously you can't hand it over to me, but I am doing cash. So right now is you have to pay out of pocket for this particular time. VA, I am contracted with the VA in Washington. I just have to find out if that crosses over to Texas, or if I have to call Texas to find out if it crosses over, because I'm already in the VA. So I'm already contracted with the VA here in the state of Washington under my license, but I'm not sure if I show them or if I have to contact them to let them know that I'm open to Texas. Since I'm already in the system, I would have to check. Well, you're VA, so you let me know. Let me know. I just have to find out whether or not I have to reapply for Texas, or if I can just contact them and let them know I'm also licensed in Texas. But that would be pretty good. Because I do help a lot of veterans when it comes to their benefits as well, because I do assessments, and so, and that usually helps them. Alrighty. One thing we don't do is we don't argue with my moderators. When we argue with my moderators, you're basically disrespecting me. All right. So this is what we're gonna do. So it doesn't matter who you are. Do not argue with my moderators. My moderators are there to do a job, and I don't like when people make the job hard on my moderators. My moderators just follow my instructions. They do exactly, and if they find your your comment inappropriate, please respect my moderators. And it doesn't matter how sweet you are to me, I will put you off my channel. But one thing we don't do, if you disrespect my moderators, if you disrespect the moderators, they ask you to do something, and you disrespect my moderators, you're disrespecting me, because they are my assistants. They're doing it volunteer. That. But please know that if you disrespect the moderators, you're disrespecting me, because the moderators are doing this on a volunteer basis. And when you make it hard for them, they get frustrated too, because they keep me focused when I'm talking. So please do not disrespect my moderators. If they ask you to do something, please do what you ask them to do. Okay. If they ask you to do something, please follow their instructions and do what they're asking you to do. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Well, listen, I am, that is, I have respect. I know you respect people and everything, but I don't use my platform for religious purposes, even though I am a believer, I am a minister, but when I come on the platform, I really focus on narcissist abuse. A lot of times I may give an opinion about something, but I am respectful over the fact that everybody that is on my channel may not be a believer of Jesus Christ or a Christian. And so a lot of times when I say things, I say it from my belief system, and I just ask you to take that and just apply it to the way that you believe, or just take the principle of what I'm saying. But one thing that I don't do is that I don't allow people to get on here, and when they start having these conversations or a religious conversation, I don't allow that on the platform, because it causes confusion. And so whatever they do, whenever the moderators ask you to do something, please follow their instructions, or I'll take you off the channel, because I don't like for people to argue with the moderators. They're doing a job, they're doing what I'm asking them to do, and I don't like for them to be frustrated, because once they're frustrated, I'm frustrated, because now you're messing with me when you mess with them. So please respect my moderators. And doesn't matter who you are, no matter how much I love you, you could be family members. I'll block you off the channel in a heartbeat. I don't have a problem with that. So listen, so I'm getting ready to get off the channel. I'm gonna let you guys go and have a beautiful evening. I want you guys to enjoy your evening, enjoy yourselves. I appreciate it, Mr. Desmond. Is it Desmond or Demond? I think Mr. Desmond, right? Mr. Desmond, Demond. Please, do you ever get over physical abuse from a narcissist? Yeah, you get over physical abuse. Absolutely. Do I know any male therapists that deal with the men and narcissists? I don't. Demond. Okay, Demond. I'm sorry. I'm just give you your name. But listen, I want to thank Mr. Demond, because he was the one who gave me the topic last week when he made that statement, when he said AI. And I said, that is the best description I've heard, because I always say Android. But when you said AI, if those of you that have AI, just go in there and just play with Chat GPT, and the way that you handle Chat GPT, just know that's the way that a narcissist is. And I really appreciate and honor you, King. Thank you so much for that, because that really had me thinking all week. And I said I'm gonna do a topic, and I wanted to give you your props for that, and make sure that I give proper credit and where that thought came from. That came from you, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here on my channel. To all the kings, I know majority of the followers and most of the people that come on here are females or women. And so when the kings come out and they come out and support, I really appreciate you ladies, because we got some lionesses on here, and I really appreciate the ladies, for being kind and respecting the men, because they don't have to be here, but their input is just as relevant, because a lot of them have also been through narcissist abuse, and a lot of them are not narcissists. We're so accustomed to being abused by a narcissist, a male narcissist, that when we see a man, you get scared. So immediately you assume that he must be a narcissist too. But some of these kings have been abused by narcissists as well. They're just not going to tell, they're not going to tell, all their business. It's not meant for them to tell all their business, But I appreciate each and every one of you kings that came out. I honor you. I respect you. We love you. We're going to protect you. And my 14th closing. See, that's what I'm talking about. These moderators, boy, I tell you, I tell you, hold on just a minute. Let me fix this real quick. All right. So we had to ban folks from over here, but 14th and a half. Y'all got jokes this evening. Boy, I tell you one thing. One thing I can tell you is never going to be boring over here on social media. And I love, love, love talking to you guys. Thank you guys so, so much for supporting me. Thank you for taking care of me. Moderators, thank you guys so much for being here. My apologies whenever you are disrespected. I thank you for coming back. I am so tired of y'all. My 15th closing. I'm done now. So good night, everybody. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for supporting me. Good night, everybody.